suspense, mystery, the FBI, a hunter, and snow. A lot of snow. So let's dive in and take a look at Wind River in this box office review. First of all, going into the theater, I really did not know much about this movie. I had watched the trailer the night before, and what I gathered from the trailer was that it was a murder mystery set in the snow, and Jeremy Renner's character is a hunter, and Elizabeth Olsen is an FBI agent, and Graham Greene is a tribal sheriff. That's really all I knew going into the theater. Now, the overall film is actually a lot darker and more intense than the trailer I saw. The trailer I saw made it look like it's just going to be a murder mystery, when in fact it actually turns out to kind of be like a little bit of a mystery slash psychological thriller in a way, but it doesn't really go full board into the psychological thriller aspect of it. We do get to see kind of what happens in the mind with Jeremy Renner's character, since he's a hunter. His character is basically the one who moves the narrative forward in the story. So we actually enjoy the film for what it is through his viewpoint as a hunter. Now, to go along with that, the story at the very beginning, the better part of actually the movie, is very slow. Because again, Jeremy Renner's character is a hunter, so he is very methodical and patient. He's used to tracking predators in the wild to kind of eliminate them and hunt them down so they don't kill off the other wildlife population in Wind River. Now, Wind River is a city that's in Wyoming, and it is part of a Native American community, so it's on a reservation. So that's why the FBI has to get involved, and that's why we have the tribal police with, again, Graham Greene. On the poster, it gives only Jeremy Renner and Elizabeth Olsen star credit. I would actually argue that Graham Greene should be on that poster as well as a leading star, because I feel like throughout the film, his character is just as present with as much screen time as the other two. If it's Jeremy Renner, it's Graham there as well. If it's Olsen, it's Graham. So there are a few moments where Graham isn't around and it's just Renner and Olsen, but for the most part, he's right there with them throughout every step of the way up until the ending. So I feel like, in my mind, he should be on that poster as well, but it is what it is. So the film itself is written by Taylor Sheridan. Now, this name might be familiar to you if you saw the film Sicario or Hell or High Water. He wrote those. Now, if you saw Sicario, you know what a brilliant film that was, and also what a very violent film that was. The opening of the movie takes place, and they're basically busting what they think is a drug house, and when they pull down the drywall, they notice that there are bags of dead bodies in the wall. This movie does not pull any punches either. This is very graphic, it's very in your face, and if you get squeamish at all by people hurting other people, you're going to want to stay away from this. If you're the type of person that can watch a TV show like Law & Order Special Victims Unit, and your stomach doesn't get a little when you're watching it, you'll be fine. But if your stomach does get stay away from this film. This is not the film for you. The majority of the film, like I just previously mentioned, it is very slow. It takes time to get to where the real action takes place and where the drama builds, and it gets very, very intense. And it's all happening on screen because, again, Sheridan does not pull any punches. His view of what life is like in this film is right there on full display for us as movie watchers. And you gotta have a tough stomach to make it through this film because it is very, again, in your face. Spoiler alert. Once Jon Bernthal's character makes an appearance, do not leave the theater. Do not take a bathroom break. Do not go get a refill of soda or whatever. Stay in your seat because this is where the action really picks up and the movie gets incredibly intense and dramatic. And from there to the very end of the film, this film is sprinting. Everything up to it takes time. It's very slow. The movie is under 2 hours. It feels like a 2.5 hour movie because of how long it takes to get to the ending of the film when all of a sudden, at once, it's just intense action, non-stop, in your face, and then we get the ending of the film. So once Jon Bernthal's character appears, do not leave the theater because this is what you've been waiting for the entire time. All of that slow buildup, all of that watching Jeremy Renner hunt through the woods and follow tracks and markings is all leading up to this climactic point of the film, and you don't want to miss it. So again, I can't stress this enough, it is very graphic. It is going to make some people squeamish, and if you have any type of history where you're like, I can't watch anything where people get hurt or injured or abused or anything like that, stay away from this. Don't watch this film. I'm telling you right now. But if you can stomach it, if you can get through the tough aggression and violence and everything else that takes place at the ending of this film, then I think you'll enjoy the film for what it is, because it's a very well-written piece. It's very well-written characters. All the characters are three-dimensional. None of them feel like they're just added for the sake of being added. The security guards that work with the police and the FBI at the end of the film are there, and they actually create a new level of tension that wasn't there before, and they do a great job adding that tension. So I was very impressed with this film. I actually enjoyed it more than I thought I would, because I didn't know anything going in. But it is a very in-your-face, violent, aggressive, stomach-turning film once we get to the ending. So for me personally, I'm going to give this movie a high 5, because again, it's well written, the characters are all done very well, and the story actually makes sense from start to finish from what I saw on screen. But since it's not for everybody, and some people might get turned away by the violence and everything else that takes place, I do have to pull one high 5 back. But I don't think that should stop people from seeing the film if, again, they can watch shows like Law & Order Special Victims Unit. So, Wind River is in theaters right now. You're getting one high 5. Check it out.